Hello, hello. I am also going PNG tuber. I tend to do this with my bonus streams, just have it be a nice chill experience. I don't have to worry about tracking or anything like that. Just me and you guys. I got the microphone in front of me. I got a little bongo cat and a hornet in the corner. Hornet in the corner will make more sense once we get into the game. But first, say hello, bongo cat. Look at him tapping away. He's doing his thing. But he'll be tapping along as I play. But yeah, we are gonna be starting a new game here. Also worth noting, this is one of those games where if I tab out, it's gonna not play audio. So if the audio for the game cuts out at any point, that's why. It's not the game's fault. It's just the way that it's made. But that shouldn't be a problem, because I'm not going to be needing to tab over to anything else, ideally. Let's get in here, though. How much have things changed in almost 2 years since I've played this game last on a stream? Oh, it's so immediate. Say hello to Hornet. She's the new main character of Pseudoregalia now. I had to see if somebody had made a model replacement, because this game does have outfits that you can switch between. There's a bunch of unlockable ones that got added in with these new time trials, which is what that crystal up there is. So beyond the full release of the game, there was one major update that got put out, and it was the map update. So they added a form of mini-map that you can pull up, and it gives you a general layout of the area that you're in. It's not a super detailed map. It's not the kind that goes room by room and marks where items are. But it's nice to have. It's a little bit of navigational assistance, because people definitely expressed the need for it. I'm trying to think. I can't get up there yet. Okay. But I had to look and see if somebody had made a Hornet outfit, quote unquote. It's basically a remodel. And the funny thing is, this mod came out before Silksong did. It's a 2024 release mod. But I thought it would be funny to play through as Hornet. Because in a lot of ways, the moveset that we get in this game really does feel like what if Team Cherry made Silksong in 3D. They even replaced the weapon with the needle. So we just have the needle. So that's really, really cool. I appreciate that someone put in the effort to make this, because I think it looks really good. Considering what you're working with, it looks really, really fun. Just having Hornet go around like slash, and like she's proficient. We've seen as much in both Hollow Knight and Silksong. Not just in combat, but also in acrobatics. So it does feel very fitting. I was trying to think if there was something else. Oh yeah, when I picked up that power-up that gave me my weapon back, if you're familiar with the normal game at all, normally there would be a pop-up that comes up on the screen, and there'd be an item acquired chime that happens. And it would be like a full screen window just saying, here's the thing you picked up and here's what you can do with it. But one of the quality of life mods I have installed, mainly helpful for people who have already played the game before and know what the power-ups do well enough. Yeah, you can also do this. For people who want to go into the dark area early, that's just right there. Yeah, so one of the mods I have installed just takes that full screen game slowdown window where it gives you a more detailed view of what you've unlocked or what you've acquired, and just makes it a little tooltip in the corner. So instead of the full screen display being like, oh, you got the slide, you can use it to get through tight gaps. To get through tight spaces, press left trigger to slide. But just having it be an unobtrusive pop-up in the corner that doesn't slow down the game at all, it's pretty nice. Again, one of those things that's mainly nice to have on subsequent playthroughs after your first. Having the more detailed full screen pop-up describing things when you play for the first time, probably good. Probably good to have that additional information. And one of the other things that's kind of cool about this game, and I feel like is somewhat underrepresented / underutilized, people have made a couple of custom maps for this. At least as far as my browsing has taken me on Nexus Mods. I don't know if there's another place where people have shared more custom maps. But one of the custom maps, and we might look at it after I do the full playthrough here. One of the custom maps is basically just teaching some advanced movement techniques that go beyond the scope of the vanilla game's explanations. But the way that they're actually implemented into the game is very much intentional. Like, they actually have unique visual indications that they're happening. So it's like, yeah, things like bunny hopping, they specifically made an animation for preserving your slide momentum by bunny hopping. So they've made a specific animation that tells you, yes, this is a thing that we planned for. Yeah, somebody made a custom map that's just teaching some of that advanced movement, and I went through that and then did my playthrough of this game immediately after, and that's what I was referring to in one of my previous Blue Sky posts, where it was like, oh, I just learned a bunch of movement tech for this game, and it's gonna be so much fun. But we gotta do some combat first. Good old strong eyes. Oh no! This fight is a little lengthy, but it does feel appropriate for a Silk Song boss. As one of 2 bosses in this game, I feel like it's fair to have it last for as long as it does. It is kind of funny also that this game has a sort of lock-on system. Let me just bind my silk real quick. There we go. Wait, that actually did not last as long as my test playthrough attempt did. I'm guessing because I played more efficiently, I played more careful. Yeah, boss defeated, key acquired, door unlocked. I can actually try to remind myself what was different. They did add a few things alongside the map upgrade, which I totally forgot to grab on my test playthrough a couple nights ago. So I'm gonna try and grab that, because I think I remember where it is, but I totally didn't need it. This sign here is one of the things that also got added in the map update, just to give a stronger indication about the tower holding the essence of the princess and looking out for 3 powers of the sun. Because I think the only other place that exists is directly outside of the tower itself. So there's a health upgrade down there. I don't want to get it right now, because I don't want to retraverse back up here. So yeah, one of the things that I absolutely love about this game is the movement. This is a game that clearly, when it was being developed, yeah, this room is completely new. This was not here in the original release. And this is where you get the map. Now, I'm trying to think. I definitely changed that binding. I want to make sure I remember which one. Did I not? I totally should have. Here. Quick map should be that. Yes. Now let's try that. Oh. Uh-oh. 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 I might have to reset the game real quick. Uh-oh. Hold on. Send me to the main menu real quick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Happens sometimes. Hopefully that binding fixed. Let me make sure. Okay, now that should work. Let's go back in. My key binding, it don't work. my rebind, it don't work. How about I change this button instead? Oh, right. But the save when I reset it changed it back. Hold on. I forgot. Hold on. Because I didn't pick this up last time, I haven't ironed out. Oh, cool. Fatal error. I guess I won't use the map. I don't need it anyway. That's where it is, though. I just won't use the quick map. I won't use that quick map button. We'll just use the one on the main screen. I think the game process is still... Oh, there it is. Okay. New year, new scuff. We'll just chalk it up to that. Let's not use that keybind. We'll grab the map, but we'll only use it in the pause menu, because that seems like it functions properly. And I won't have to mess around with key binding issues. Oh, never mind. That also causes a fatal error now. I may have broken the map. Okay, no map. I don't need it anyway. But yes, that's where it is. That's where the map is, for anyone who wants to try and use it. I'm going to say that it's not working because I have modded the game. And I'm not going to subject y'all to me trying to live troubleshoot a modded game. Nobody deserves that kind of treatment. So we're just gonna move along. No, you stop that. And I'm trying to think where I want to go. You are still chasing after me, huh? Do these guys have infinite aggro range? Because that's wild. I'm trying to think where I want to go here. Wahoo! Yeah, so that's one of the advanced movement techniques that you can perform. It's a little tricky to pull off, but it's possible. You can actually cancel your slide into a skid jump. And that lets you get up to places like this a little early. Isn't that fun? Yeah, stuff like that is why I wanted to specifically stream this game again. I think this is the door. Yeah, this takes us up to a Sansa Keep. Yeah, I don't have any specific direction in mind. I don't have a route planned or anything. I basically just went around and went to different locations, trying to use my advanced movement to get up to places I normally wouldn't be able to. And I don't think I really ever got truly stuck anywhere. I think there's only a couple of things I was specifically unable to do as a result of not having the requisite movement option or knowledge of how to use the options I did have. Because this is a game where if you know how to use some of your movement in funny, interesting ways, you can get away with a lot more than you might think. And it's by design, too. Like, the way they've designed these areas is very intentionally not only just open-ended in general, but it's one of those things where, you know how developers will sometimes put in these little shortcuts or side routes to areas that casually you may never even know existed, but you can tell that they were specifically designed by the developers on purpose, and it's not just, oh, they forgot to block this off, so I guess I can skip through. I can just take advantage of this space that they forgot to fill with something, or block it off a certain way. There we go. This game is full of dev-intended open-endedness, which is really cool. I'm trying to get better at this technique. The slide cancel is a tricky one, because it requires some pretty specific order of operations. You have to slide, and while you're sliding, you have to press back. You have to press in the opposite direction of where you're sliding, tap jump, and then point the control stick in the direction you want to jump, and then tap the jump button again. But all of that has to happen in pretty rapid sequential order, so it's not something you can really button mash. And it's tricky. Because you also have to do it at a specific part of your jump. Let me see if I can figure out the timing again. Okay, I think that's right. There we go. That's not the absolutely most powerful version of it, but it is the correct technique. Your jump height is based on your speed, which I do have. Another one of those quality of life mods is just having a little speedometer at the bottom left there. That's what that meter is. It shows you your current speed at any given moment. So when you see that sort of cyan after image, that's the optimal. That's me performing it optimally. Anything else that doesn't have that after image is less than full power. Let's get in here. Break this open. Just try to get some more practice with the slide cancel here. There we go. Okay, I think I have the timing figured out. It happens a little later than I think it does. But now we got ourselves a ground pound, which lets us do a high jump afterward. So we can kind of bounce that way. Another thing it lets us do is if we start a ground pound in the air, but we jump out of it to cancel, we do a little backflip. That backflip is surprisingly useful. Alright, try trying to practice a little bit more. There we go, that's a pretty good one. Okay, this is the furnitureless room. Let's head over this way. Yeah, that backflip is surprisingly useful for platforming, specifically a little bit later when we have one particular mobility upgrade. A little sloppy there. It's good for getting just a little bit of extra height for ledges like this. I don't know if I'll get all 3 aspects of Clear Mind. I only got 2 of them in my test run. Ooh, careful. Ooh, I did not turn around. Hello, Ninmoon. Welcome on in. Happy New Year indeed. Here, I'm trying to figure out the time. It's something I kind of have to be paying attention to do. There we go. And then the backflip to seal the deal. Nice. So yeah, without the slide cancel, sliding is basically just a faster way to get around and to squeeze into tighter spaces. Here to kind of save myself. Nice. Nice. There we go. I'm schmooving a little bit. I'm not going to worry about going into the Twilight Theater yet. Certainly not that part of it. Oh. Right. The dungeon. Do I really want to go here? I don't think I do. That's mostly going to lead into areas I want other movement tech for. I think the problem is I'm not... There we go. Yeah, I'm moving the control stick away a little too early. That backflip, you can already see I'm making some pretty good use of it. There we go. I think I figured out what I was doing wrong with that cancel. I think I'm moving the control stick forward again too early. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. There we go. That's a little better. Now I just need to train it into my muscle memory so that I can do it without having to think super hard about it. That's the goal, at least. We got the little guy making big music again. Where do I want to go? I think Empty Bailey is the place for me to go. There we go. I'm starting to get it again. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm starting to learn. Now it's time for the best music. I guess one other advanced technique, I suppose you could call it. Your speed from sliding is preserved off of ledges. So if you have a ledge and then you can bunny hop to preserve your speed. Pretty good. Hey buddy, how's it going? I'm not here. Okay, you're not here. Neither am I. Over here, backflip to seal the deal, just in case. Because there is a very, very useful power-up in here that I want. Now, you know how I said the slide normally is basically just a faster way to get around and squeeze under tight spaces like this one? Unless you learn about and can actually perform the slide canceling, which actually makes it a super good jump. This completely changes it. We no longer do slide canceling. What we can do instead is now we have a jump at the end of our slide that we can do. And that overrides our ability to cancel the slide, because pressing the jump button will now instead do an actual jump. What we can do instead now is, if we have a sufficient amount of space, instead of canceling the slide into a skid jump, we can chain the slide jump into a skid jump, which is a much easier thing to pull off, at least in my opinion. Because you don't have to press the jump button in super quick succession. You only have to do it once for the slide jump, and then once for the skid jump. I also find it a lot easier to redirect the jump in whatever direction I need it to go. The only major caveat I can think of regarding this specific technique is it does require a little more space. You need more open space, because that slide jump does take you quite far. So that is something to keep in mind. But it is incredibly useful. Not the least of which it's very, very useful for moving around fast, because that slide jump immediately takes you to a very high speed. So not only is it incredibly useful for movement, as far as being able to reach higher places, or being able to jump longer distances, it's also a faster way of getting around. Much faster. Now that I have that, I think I'm good to leave. And now you can see the bunny hopping animation too, where they sort of do this pounce instead of just their regular jump. They do more of a pouncing, leaping animation. Which is pretty neat. I guess since I'm here, maybe I should go for one more thing. Make a stop at the tower. Well, do I want to go? I could probably do the tower without sun greaves, right? I don't think I've tried it. We could try it. I need to not be directly underneath it. There we go. Yeah, so just the movement of this game is incredible. It feels so stylish to be able to pull this stuff off. Even just my first time playing through the game, knowing basically none of this movement tech at all, it still felt stylish to platform. So you can imagine how it only feels even nicer knowing some of these movements. It's a very mechanically engaging game. So yeah, this sign right here used to be the only mention of needing 3 powers of the sun to get up here. But I'm curious if I can do it without the sun greaves. Don't know if that's going to be possible, but I thought I'd come over and check since it's not very far out of the way. I don't think I personally can do it. It might be possible to do, but I don't think it's within my realm of capability. So we will come back later. We got plenty of exploration we can do though. I mainly wanted to come over here to get the slide jump and also to open up this little shortcut here. Now we should be able to get across this gap, I would think. You can try it. Yep, just get that little extra backflip in there. We can get our first health expansion. Pretty good. I also did totally just try to slide cancel, even though I cannot do that. So now I want to go, we can hit the switch. And we can head up here, hit this switch. I want to break through here and go this way, because this is where we get our wall kicks. In this place with the funny little music. Alright, let's go get those wall kicks because they are very nice to have. That's up here, I believe. Oh, I can almost reach that with a backflip. Not a big deal though. Slide in here. rest this open, pause the game so that I come back as Hornet again, because your outfit does change when you grab the Sun Greaves. So I just have to pause to make it be Hornet again. This area does do a pretty good job of using the light bouncing to sort of teach you how the wall kicks work. Because it sort of works like, as the light would imply, it works like a mirror reflection. So if you go at the wall straight on, you're gonna go straight away from the wall. But if you come at it at, say, like a 45-degree angle, you'll be leaving at the reflection of that 45-degree angle, so you'll keep going out of the wall at that same angle. It's a very interesting piece of movement, and I don't think I've really ever seen none of the platformers I've played anyway really have wall jumps quite like that. Yeah, that's what I mean about this game really just letting you kind of find your own way to things. I forgot to do kick canceling. Like, you're supposed to be using the wall kick to get through this whole area. It's kind of meant to teach you how to think about using your air kick. If you have other movement techniques that you can use instead, it's totally up to you if you want to use those. And I think that is very cool. Let's see, I could start off with that, and then maybe we go like this. There we go, nice. I've heard the movement options in this game described, I think very appropriately, as a toolbox. Basically, each new piece of movement that you acquire is just another tool for you to be able to create your own movement techniques. So however you decide to get through an area depends on which tools you feel the most comfortable with and how you want to string them together. Because, as you've seen, the more tools you have at your disposal, the more your options just really start to open up. Let me try this with a... Oop, that's not enough room. Here's one technique I've been trying to make more use of, but sometimes I forget to use it. When you're in the wall kick animation, if you touch a wall with the kick, you're going to bounce off of it. But if you attack in midair, that cancels the wall kicking animation, and thus you can go up against walls without kicking them. Which can be useful if you're hoping to get a ledge grab or something like that. You've noticed I kick away from the ledges I'm intending to grab. One thing you can do to prevent that wall kick from happening is just to attack. cancel your wall kick animation, so you won't kick the wall. Very handy. So I've been trying to get better at using that. But another thing that you can do is if you are just barely, if you would be in ledge grabbing territory and you wall kick off of it instead, you can just do a quick backflip using that canceled ground pound, and that will just pop you right up on the ledge. Super nifty. And it looks very clean. Hello, Bless. Welcome on in. How has your new year been so far? We out here schmooving and grooving. Let's grab this save real quick. Which way do I want to go here? We could go through here. This is adorable. Good year so far? Good year so far? Sounds good to me. Always nice to be able to start off the year on a good note. Let's see, I can probably skid jump over here. Yeah, I don't know if you remember almost 2 years ago when I played this game for the first time on stream. But if you do remember, you might notice that the main character looks a little different than they usually do. Believe it or not, this game does not normally include Hornet. Let's see, I'm trying to remember how I went through this during my test play. I think I did a skid jump from here. Let me try it. Yeah, something like that. Pretty nifty. We could totally do something over here if I just space it right. Yeah, I thought with all the movement and stuff in this game and just being relatively fresh off of Silksong, it'd be funny to see if somebody made a Hornet mod for this game. And would you believe it came out before Silksong did? Try to make better use of that backflip as a corrective tool to get on the ledges. Jay made some awesome greens and beans. Spent time with my grandparents today, did chicken keeping and gardening, lots of my favorite things. Sounds awesome. I'm glad that you've been able to do a lot of very soul-feeding things in this new year. That definitely sounds like you're getting a very solid start to the year. That's awesome. Oops, I was not facing the opposite direction. I am doing pretty well myself. I haven't really been doing a whole lot in the new year, mostly just catching up on rest since I went back to work this week. But since we get New Year's Day off, and I'd been wanting to stream this game, I was like, ooh, perfect opportunity for a bonus stream. I think I will grab this lever up here. Excuse me. for a little bit of extra convenience factor. Was a pleasant surprise to see the notification. Well, I'm glad it's a pleasant surprise. Unlike me dropping straight down into the mystical purple goo. Let's see, I can drop this down. So I can just go across like that. I have to make sure I do this a little carefully so I don't soft lock, because I did rewatch my entire archive of my first playthrough of this. It is possible to soft lock here. If this enemy leaves the room into this little alcove here, and then you come into the room and they're outside of it and you can't hit them, then you cannot leave this room. And that's a bit of an oopsie. But I want this strike break, because I don't know actually. I think you do require the strike break. I think you need it to be able to actually use the soul cutter upgrade that lets you have a projectile added onto it. Oh, this is here. Okay, right. So we do want to go down the hole now. Just as somewhere different to go. Like I said, I'm kind of winging this. I don't have a specific route in mind or anything. I'm just going around where my movement allows me to go to grab stuff. I'm just having fun playing the video game. That's basically what it boils down to. Don't think there's anything I can do over here just yet. Well, there kind of is, but kind of isn't. Here, let me do that. There we go. Oh, I'm actually, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything worth me doing in this room right now. Because me personally, I don't think I have the platforming chops to make this happen. Because there's some really out of the way switches here. I think you're supposed to use Soul Cutter to get to them, or to hit them rather. You're not even really supposed to get over to them. They're placed way out of arm's reach for a reason. We will be coming back to that room later. Because I do know of at least one quote-unquote major mobility upgrade that we can just ignore entirely. I didn't personally skip it in my test playthrough a couple nights ago, but looking back on it in hindsight, I'm pretty sure it is skippable. So I will be seeing if I can do that. I do want to open up this little shortcut over here and grab the save point. Pop this door open. And just right over here. That leads back up to the empty Bailey, I remember that. Let's circle through here. There we go. Oh, right, you ground slam into this place normally. Okay. This goes back toward the other area. I do want to grab what's up top real quick. I do love using the backflip. It is a very neat little flourish of movement. I'll head back across this way, I think. Just so I can remind myself of what needs doing in this room. Yeah, I think we open up a shortcut here once we're up top. One thing I did not know about these bubbles until I watched somebody else's playthrough somewhat recently is that you can keep it until you do until you use its second jump capability. I just totally didn't even think of that. I don't think I've ever done the quote-unquote intended method of getting out of this area then. I think you're supposed to take this over here and then go to the other side using that bubble. I've never done that before. Believe it or not. I've always used other movement to get over there. Unless I missed something when I was rewatching my first playthrough. I don't remember ever doing that before because that would require me to know something that I just said I didn't know. So something tells me that that's just part of the magic of this game. What's behind this locked door? I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh. Right. This gives us an extra wall kick. So instead of doing 3 at maximum, now we can do a 4th one. Not really necessary, I would say. But it's handy to have just as a little bit of extra mobility opportunity. We can also skip a combat room entirely and just give ourselves a convenience bridge, which we totally don't need. We can definitely get across that gap without it, with our current movement. Yeah, just moving around in this game is so much fun. It's one of few games that really feels like I just enjoy playing it for the sheer mechanics of the movement and all of that. This really is just a movement sandbox of opportunity. And it's so much fun. And it feels even better now that I know some more of the advanced movement techniques. Can I do this right now? With what I have? I think I did this when I had the wall cling in addition to everything else. So I don't know if I can pull this off with just the air kicks. I mean, I'll try it. Let's see if I can go. Maybe here would work. Can I get over to that bubble? Is the main question. I can. How far will this take me? Ooh, nice, nice. Just aim this toward the wall so that I can make use of some wall kicks. Nice, I can do that without wall cling even. That increases our damage. Very comfy to have for final boss. But yeah, normally, you notice all those dark orbs that are just floating in the air there. One of the power-ups that we can get, and the one I'm going to attempt skipping entirely, is that attacking enemies would bounce us up in the air. Not too much unlike a Hollow Knight pogo, if you will. And so that's how you're supposed to get across gaps like that with those dark orbs hanging around. Is that you attack them to bounce off of them and just keep going that way. But if you have some different movement options figured out, you can just ignore that power-up entirely. There are alternate ways around every room that contains shadow orbs. As long as you have the movement you need to be able to work through them in an alternative fashion. And just ignore that enemy entirely because they're smashing plates and I am not about that life. I also don't think I've ever done this room the intentional way. I think you're supposed to go up to this ledge and use that bubble to go across. I don't think I've ever done that a single time outside of realizing, oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Let me go try it. I just always go my own way there. Yeah, I think that ultimately sums up this game's experience pretty well. It can have quite a learning curve depending on how much experience you personally have with open-ended exploration and performing different movement, and how much research and practice you want to put into things like movement. But the more you put into it, the more you can potentially stand to receive from it as well. So right up there and then one room further is the power-up that would let us bounce off of enemies by attacking them. If I had the wall cling right now, I would probably just explore the areas above that one pillar. But I want to see if I can avoid getting this power up, so I'm not going to be going up there. All right, this room. Whoa, Schmoovement! 5,000 mile per hour movement speed. Valuable lesson: putting time into learning any skill that you enjoy doing will always be worth the time spent. Exactly. Oh. Hey, buddy. Nice void you got there. Thankfully, they accounted for enemies falling out of bounds, and that unlocked it anyway. Quick heal there. Yeah, this is a game with very, very rewarding platforming movement. This game, honestly, is sort of a speedrunner's dream. It's that kind of game. There's a lot of optimization you can do with both routing and movement. I'll take that damage. I am fine doing that. Yeah, this area's gimmick is that there are a bunch of levers all over the place, and each one makes this central platform raise a little bit higher. And by the time you get up to the top, that's how you're supposed to get the pogo ability. The one that lets you bounce off of enemies by attacking them. It feels kind of weird calling it a pogo in this game specifically, because we have the ground slam into a high jump, and this feels more like a literal pogo as far as movements go. Oh yeah, you're over there. How about I just ignore that? How about I just ignore that you're smashing all the plates and my face, and we just move on. Dodge around that. Now we can reach this pole in the center, and that is the power-up right there that I'm going to skip. What I am going to do is use the save point . No, I didn't bounce off of it. My bad. Yeah, it's also totally possible to just platform up in this room because the walls are very close together. You can totally just get up here in an alternate fashion. I'm thinking a little backflip will do nicely there. Okay, here's something. Riddle me this. What is this area for? Because I was watching back my archive of playing through this area for the first time. Rather, that section of the archive, because the archive is just the whole thing all in one. I could not find a purpose for this area. Aside from it connecting to a different area, I guess. When I found no benefit in it. This just drops back down into a room we've already been in before. And there's nothing else here. So this particular room, I just had no idea what the point of it was. Because as far as tangible progression goes, it felt very superfluous. Which isn't a bad thing necessarily, just confused me a little as a collectibles kind of person. Wanted to go out of my way to try and find things. So it felt weird having a room that served seemingly no purpose. But it had specific design elements like that lever to raise that cage platform to let you go up into that area. Just always felt a little bizarre to me. It still does. But I'm a lot better at just letting it be what it is now, rather than continuing to interrogate the purpose behind it fruitlessly. Because honestly, it could just be something that maybe there was a plan originally to put something in there and they just decided not to. It could literally just be that simple. Like they thought about putting something in there, but then they just decided, no, I'm not going to. Or just never got around to putting something in there or forgot about it. It happens. I can't remember if going up here is... Oh, there is a secret up here. This was one that I did not get. But then when I watched myself get it in the archive, I've kind of regretted not getting it earlier. I regretted not getting it in my test playthrough. But it's kind of a tricky one to get up to. I might want to come back with wall cling to grab that, honestly. Actually, if I go back this way real quick. This should connect back to where we opened up the wall before, where I could say you could go into the dark zone immediately. Yep, this is that spot. And while I'm here, I figure I might as well go grab this health upgrade. This little piece I couldn't grab before. Just as a real quick detour. Might afford us a little bit of extra leeway later. And since I'm in the area, there is one other thing we could grab. Well, maybe a couple of things actually, depending on how well I can use my movement to get there. Can I get up in this room? Probably. Yeah, okay. There is another key we can grab here. I believe this room has something we can maybe grab as well. As long as I can use my movement well. ourselves another health piece. Pretty handy. So we can make pretty good use of these wall kicks. Right, that's all I wanted to do here. Now we're good to go back into the dark zone. And the only reason I can navigate this area without light is because I've been here before. So I have a general idea of where to go. But if you ever get lost, you can throw your weapon and it emanates light, which is handy. That upgrade that we're skipping, that lets us jump off of enemies by attacking them, it does also give you an aura of light, specifically for dark areas like this one, so that you don't have to throw your weapon to be able to see your immediate surroundings. But if you know where you're going, you don't even need it. Just like that. It is also possible to just barely make out silhouettes of things in contrast to the background, if you look really carefully. So I'm not going in totally blind in there. But it's still very, very helpful to already have been there and know where I'm going. As you can imagine. Oh, just a little too far off. Yeah, the wall kick does not last forever. Well, that's not helpful. I need to actually slide cancel, or, well, slide chain. I'm just getting a little too eager on the control stick there. There we go. Much better. Let's see if I can do this room without the wall cling. Intercepted immediately. They really just said, no, don't go this way. I'm going this way. You can't stop me. Okay, I'm gonna have to really aim for one side. Yeah, no, this ain't happening without the wall cling. Okay. Fair enough, just wanted to try it. I did not even skid there. Hold on. There we go. Will this get me close enough? No, okay. Maybe I should just go for it. Yeah, that's better. Other areas to go to anyway. Let me see if I can find where I have not been yet. Hello to and welcome on in. Hope your new year has been going well so far. find my way. Yes, okay, here we might be able to do something. Let me try this. So my main experimentation right now is how much can I do without the wall cling? Because I was doing a lot of this stuff, but I had the wall cling at that point. I don't think I have enough room to do a super slide jump. I might be able to make it around the corner of the room there to get to that platform. Let me try it. Not quite. I could maybe do it though. That's very close. Oh, I did not skid there. Let me try that again. Actually, I should top off on health for what it's worth. I can maybe make this work if I just get a good... Ooh, that's a little too far away from the wall. Has been? Oh, nice. We popped an old fence post out of the ground and had another concreted in probably under an hour. Nice. It's not too bad of a time frame. Ooh, that was me skidding on the ledge, not on the floor. Let's try this once more. There we go. Nice. I'm really curious to see how far I can take this without the wall cling. Because wall cling trivializes long wallways. Ooh, that fourth jump coming in clutch. I could make it without the fourth jump, without the fourth wall kick, but it would be trickier. Hello, friends. Meant to give me some magic power to heal with. Oops. I don't want to be out here without the big jump. Let me try that big jump again. Just to get that distance. That opens up the big door at the end of the hallway, I think. That's where one of the major keys is. Can I don't think I have quite enough room to do a super slide jump. Maybe this way. Oh, there's barely enough room for me to do that. Oh, that's super tight spacing. But it works. If it works. Let me clear this area of guys here. This is kinda tricky. Because I have to be able to hit this switch while I'm going through. This is definitely something that is meant to require the wall cling. I can feel it. Ooh, why did I double wall kick there? That was bad. Very bad of me. Let me try this again. Can I make it with the backflip? Oh, so close. Movies, this looks like the character from Hollow Knight, but yeah. So this playthrough is modded. Normally the main character looks like this. This is the normal main character model and weapon. But because I thought it would be funny, I went to look and see if anyone had done a Hornet replacement. And there was one, and it was released before Silksong was. So this model of Hornet, specifically for this game, has existed longer than Silksong has been released to the general public, which I think is really funny. But with all the different movement and the way that combat flows in this game, it felt very appropriate to have Hornet here as the main character. There's that fourth kick coming into play in good order here. That's tough. That sends me back to the beginning of the room too, yep. You know what's funny as well, too? I was watching... Oh, excuse me, that was a big mic bump. Sorry about that. I was watching my archive of first playing this through almost 2 years ago. You're in that chat too. I might come back to this room. I don't know. Having the wall cling would be nice. I think modding games like this would be interesting if the character's movement came with them. Might make for some interesting challenges. That is fair. I think there is a mod like that for Silksong where people brought in the knight from Hollow Knight as a playable character, complete with the different spells and things that they have access to. And there are a couple of points where you can tell that Silksong is not designed to be played as the knight from Hollow Knight. The main technical aspect that it really shows is there are certain level transitions where, due to the character's smaller size compared to Hornet, they will either not be able to use certain level transitions or they'll get stuck behind certain ones. So there are a handful of things that you do have to switch back to Hornets to be able to make it through. But it is kind of fun seeing people play through Silksong as the knight. This game looks very 64. You did think the same 2 years ago, so that is consistent. But yeah, with this game's pretty unique tool set when it comes to platforming capabilities, just the different movement options you have at your disposal, it is... I don't know how viable it would be to transpose another character's move set into this environment. I'm sure it's possible, but there are shockingly few mods for this game, at least on Nexus Mods. If there's another location where there are more mods for this game, I am not aware of it. But there's only what, like 5 pages of mods for this game? Well, 5 pages of mods for this game with certain content filters added on. Because most of the mods that I saw were cosmetic. We'll say there's another parallel between this game and Hollow Knight, and now retroactively Silksong. You can rest And you have the cross leg animation. This is normal, something that Sybil would do anyway. So it just so happens that this is also a game where you can sit, and it will restore your health too. I did not find that out on my first playthrough. I only learned about that when I was doing my personal replay to test how long it would take for me to play through a couple nights ago. But it is useful information because there are a couple of spots where that is basically the only healing you'll have access to. Oh, that's the one for the big door. So, wait, which other door opened as a result of this one? What changed? Oh, this pole wasn't here before. It's just such a small object, I couldn't really see the difference. Okay. So this... Yeah, okay. Okay. So you were playing on harder mode before. Kind of. I don't think health was ever an issue when playing through. I don't think I ever died during my playthrough. So health was never a reason that I've had issues. So I don't know how much not knowing that really affected me. Clearly it didn't, because I think I sat on stools in that playthrough only when I was either full on health, or the one time I noticed that I did sit on the stool with missing health. I only did it for under a second, so it didn't have time to start regenerating my health, because it's not instantaneous. I think I can bring this down, it's fine. But so I just thought it was funny that I was very close to figuring it out during my first playthrough, but I just didn't sit on the stool for long enough for it to happen. Let's head down here. Yeah, the main reason I wanted to come back to this game was some area music that I recently came back across in my music playlist. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm looking through this mod list I'm looking through all the mods that are available for the game. Someone actually made, there are a couple of custom maps that people have made. And one of them actually teaches some advanced movement techniques for this game. So I was like, you know what? I'll play through this and try and learn some of those, and I did. It took a little bit because some of the movement is, some of the techniques are fairly precise. But that's really cracked this game wide open for me. I'm able to go to all sorts of places way earlier than I'm really meant to. And it's really fun to be able to do that. Can I get out of here without being able to... Yes, okay. So it seems like kind of an either-or situation I've got going on here. I can either grab the fourth air kick and skip the ability to bounce off of enemies by attacking them, or vice versa. Seems like kind of how this is playing out. because I've been able to go without the enemy bouncing for a while. But I think it's only because that fourth kick has helped give me enough additional distance that normally something like the wall cling or the enemy bouncing would have been able to do for me. Speaking of which, I still don't have the wall cling, so I don't know why I came back here. Well, maybe I can do something here. Hold on. I might be able to get up there with that with 4 kicks. I just have to try and figure out what's the best way to approach it. Maybe I can use this. Maybe. That might actually be useful. Hold on. Let me try this. Oh, so close. I wall bounced off of the corner in a way that sent me forward instead of back. I was not ready for that. We could totally make this work. Yeah, there we go. I don't even need the 4th kick. I just needed to reconsider my toolkit. But we're making it happen. Where to go from here? I think it's up. Yeah, there's a pole up here. Oops, and bounce off the ground first. There we go. When I forget that this is actually where you get the wall cling. I'm trying to think, what do I not have that what sort of movement was I not doing that was intended? Either way, really, really funny. Oh, hello, Jack Umbreon. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome on in. Shaw indeed. Shaw indeed. Oops, I did not do that correctly. I want to try and land on this ledge and do a skid jump off of it. I could probably make that happen. But hello, I hope you've been having a good new year so far. Let me try this again. I want to see if I can just jump across this gap this way. Maybe here. Yes. Cool. Now I have the cling gem outfit, so I have to pause and unpause to re-shaw myself. Let's see here. And I kind of want to see how many different ways I can get myself through areas like this. Let me try this and see where this will take me. Okay. I'll go through the normal way. I will need to hit a switch up there, though. I forgot. I always forget this room is back here. I forgot this on my personal replay as well. I forgot that this little area back here exists. But now that we have the cling gem, we have a much better way of getting across walls. There are still some points where the wall kicks are better. But for sure, having the cling gem is incredibly useful. There's one thing in particular that's kind of funky about the Cling Gem that I will be making use of later. And it has to do with the way that it goes around curves. The way I think the Cling Gem works is that I'm pretty sure it applies some sort of momentum to keep you pushed against the wall so that you can go around the rounded corners of certain walls. And every time that you go around a corner like that, it resets your speed and gives you a tiny bit of height, because the Cling Gem, when you do attach to the wall, you do get a tiny bit of extra height. It's very difficult to see. You can tell by the slight slant of the trail we leave behind. We are gaining just a smidge of height. So there are a couple of places where there are rounded pillars, and you can just hold the wall cling and you will keep riding the pillar slightly higher over time. So you can ascend pillars just by wall clinging to them. And there's one spot in particular that I remember using that specifically. There's another spot that I did use it in before, but that was to get up to where the attacking enemies to bounce off of them power up exists. And we're done with that area, so we don't need to worry about that. Now these up here, these are hints as to where you can find the 5 major keys for this very Kingdom Hearts looking door. I mean, tell me that does not look like a door that could exist in a Kingdom Hearts game. Like straight up. See, I think the only major keys that we're missing are the one in the underbelly. We went into the room. It's the one that has the giant switches across huge chasms of area. And then there's one in the Twilight Theater, and that's in an area that we have not been to yet. That's where we also get the Soul Cutter sort of projectile addition to our charged attack. So now that we have the Cling Gem, we should be able to get everywhere we need to go now. One thing that's kind of interesting, and I wonder if this is something that got introduced with the map update as well. It seems like once you've used a wall kick, and then you cling to the wall, you cannot use a wall kick again. Which was not the case in my original playthrough. Oh, it's if you cancel it. Interesting. Okay, so if you cancel a wall kick into a wall cling, you cannot use your wall kicks again until you've hit the ground. Interesting. I did not know that was a side effect, because that never happened on my first playthrough, because I never used wall kick canceling. Very interesting though.
This way.
some more magic would also be useful here. So I'm back up to full. Trying to remember how I like to get up here. Ooh, that's not it. That is not it. Yeah, I remember watching my archive, I kept saying that the bell was made of cheese. And then for like the next minute, I kept trying to figure out like, oh, what kind of cheese is it? I can't remember. Is it Colby Jack cheese that it looks like? Yeah, watching my old archive was it was a bit of a hard watch for me. I don't know if that's just because it's me watching my own archive, though. You think that was Angie Kitty? No, I can get Angie. This is more inquisitive, pondering. This is Angie. This is for when I'm big mad. Don't get it twisted. I do not get mad often. But if I get mad, I've got the toggle for it there. Ooh. Oh, I heard a fleet. Where are they? I need to rescue them. Are you a fleet? I mean, I guess they're the closest thing besides the goatlings. Now, let me try this a smarter way. Just use the wall cling gem. That's what it's there for. Cool, I gained an aspect of empathy. As if I didn't already have enough. Now I've got double empathy. Yeah, now we generate more magic when we deal damage to enemies. So it's easier to recharge our magic with fewer hits. And I think the way I want to go now is over here at the far end of the Bailey. Over here, I believe? Yes. I think this is the right way. Yes, we are in the theater. This is where we want to be now. We can grab this bubble. Use that to get across this gap a little more comfortably. So I think I'll go around this way. Is there anything over here, actually? Where does this come out again? Let me remind myself. Where is this? This is this room. What is over there? Oh, right, there's a little health upgrade thing in there. Why all the way back here? I forgot there's this little health upgrade down here. Grab that piece in case we get the other two at some point. Anything over here? Oh yeah, this is like a whole gauntlet area. I forgot about that. I don't think we need to do that. Well, if it's what I think it is over here, then I do want to go this way. Small detour. We will be going to the theater eventually, I promise. We do need to get there to get the key. If there's an upgrade of a specific type around here. Oh, right, there's that one up there. Can I get that? I think probably. I might have to be a little clever with my movement here, though. And I might need these guys out of the way. Because you see that enemy floating around over there. Those guys, I don't think they're killable. So what you're meant to do is use the attack enemies to bounce off of them. You're meant to bounce off of them to get up there. I'm wondering if I can't just do my own thing here. Maybe if I have enough room here? I might just barely have enough room to do this. That'd be kind of sketchy. We can try it. So then we can do that wall cling. Perfect. So now we're not stuck in place while we're healing. We do have some degree of movement. Thought that might be nice to have. What is up there? Hello? Wait a minute. I see geometry up there. I don't know if I'm supposed to get up there. I've never been up there. I've never seen anyone be up there. I really don't know if that's reachable. It totally is. And it's blocked by an invisible wall. So, cool. New discoveries every day of my life. Starting off the new year with new knowledge. Go here. We'll go back down. This is not where I thought it would be exactly, but I think the area that I'm remembering might be out of a different exit to the theater. So, since we need to go there anyway, let's finally go and properly explore the Twilight Theater. So we've got some business to take care of here. Upgrade over here, which is much easier to reach with the help of the cling gem. That wall cling is very nice. I think I got over here with just the wall kicks before, no wall cling. And it was kinda close. Not necessarily skin of my teeth kinda close, but I definitely would not have relished attempting it again. This area is also very much meant to be using the wall cling gem in tandem with the wall kicks. For some reason, I really struggled with that room on my first playthrough. Something about it just gave me a lot of trouble. Now it's just no big deal. Alright, this is where the key resides. Behind this triple lock. Or this triple cage. We're gonna need to find 3 levers to open that up. But before we go any further here, I want to get that health upgrade, but first, I need to take a quick little bio break. It's been about 2 hours, so it's a pretty good time for me to stand up and move around a little bit anyway. So I will be taking a short break, should only be a few minutes. And then we will get into this whole place. There's a lot of platforming to do here. So it's a pretty robust area. But I will be back in a few minutes. I'm gonna pause the game. The music's gonna cut out for a moment, but I'll bring it right back for while I'm away. Because remember, the game does mute whenever I tab out. So I will be back in a few minutes. Vibing, definitely not doing lesson plans while on holiday. I mean, it's up to you what you decide to do with that time. I would argue doing the lesson plans, if I'm interpreting the message correctly, doing the lesson plans during holiday, I think is just more so a sign. I would take that as a sign of responsibility and being a caring teacher. Somebody who values the education of others. Which is something I feel like we could definitely use now, possibly more than ever. Because learning is important. It's called I have no work-life balance boundaries. Possibly a less charitable interpretation of what's going on. But maybe that's just I've tried to see the silver lining of things. Wow, that's all the way across the room. No way I can reach that lever. Guess I better leave. Ah yes, fly. It's just that simple. If I want it badly enough, I will just learn to fly to get there. Improv lessons are the best lessons. They're definitely the ones the kids remember. That depends on how good your teacher is at improv. There are definitely some teachers that can pull something like that off way better than others. Definitely not a strategy for everybody. Alright, let's get that. I'll try. I will say, first person mode is useful for this. That hasn't changed almost 2 years later. First person mode is still my go-to for lining these shots up. Especially on these ledges coming up. See, this right here, incredibly useful that they have this stool here. If you lose a lot of health attempting this arguably more difficult platforming area, and you have a way of regaining health without being locked into this location by having the game save here. Very smart design on their part. I think it works pretty well. I am also curious if I can just ignore gimmick of this room being use the soul cutter to hit the lever and then time your jump to get over to these other ones as they open up. I feel like I can totally ignore that if I play this right. Especially with that fourth kick. We do still want the soul cutter for here though. Yeah, it's just slightly off. There we go. First person just works better for me. That just is the way that it is. Depends on the teacher. I had a couple teachers in high school would be like, what did we do last time? And then just go with it. Tended to get extra tips and useful side quests that weren't on the curriculum, but interesting or useful nonetheless. I think I had a couple of teachers like that as well. If I remember correctly, goodness knows, almost, well, a little over a decade later, it's not as clear of a memory as it once was. But I think I had some teachers who were like, what did we do last time? Here's where we continue from moving forward. And just kind of having that approach to it. Yeah, some teachers are definitely better at pulling that sort of thing off than others. Just do a funny little wall cling over here. I do love being able to just glide around those corners. It feels very smooth. Round 2. Go through here. Don't even need the wall cling for that. And I believe that doorway specifically leads to that one long hallway that had all of the swinging pendulum axes. So we're just gonna ignore that. Also, I feel like this room is totally not necessary for me to go into. But I didn't save at the save point, so I don't want to reset to previous save, because that would put me back a ways. Get rid of this guy so I can deal with this enemy without getting completely bodied. I feel like I should be slamming a sword at more objects in my life. Well, I can't say that I feel the same way. I think the problems I have would not be solved by sword slamming. But then again, I don't know what kind of problems you're up against, so... They should teach fencing or saber in schools. Good discipline and hand-eye coordination. Honestly, if they had fencing as some sort of school activity, if that was competing with band for my decision, that would have made the decision a lot harder for me. Because for me, going into band was a no-brainer. I am very much an enjoyer of music and enjoyed making music. So band was a very easy decision for me to stick with for my entire middle and high school career. If there was fencing though, that definitely would have been That would have been a tough decision because I have, at multiple different points in my life, been like, fencing. I think I would be interested in trying that out sometime. I've never gotten quite to the point of actually seeking it out and making it happen. But if that had been offered in the curriculum in some way, that definitely would have been a top contender for choices. Husband acting up? Sword. Goat gets out of the pen again? Sword. Dirty dishes? Sword. I mean, that's with the dishes, that's kind of the approach that this spirit maid, this will-o-wisp maid, kind of takes with their dishes. They don't take it with swords, they just use the dishes as their attack. I've been just wandering around down there. Oh yeah, I forgot that when I was watching my archive, and I still feel this way too. Does this floor feel like something straight out of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom? The sort of ancient shrine areas? The green coloration in particular makes me think Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, very cool. I like the floor pattern and that sort of ethereal aura that it's got. Like in a shrine? Yeah, absolutely in the shrines. That's what I'm thinking. Did you play in band? I played the flute for the entire time that I was in band. So years and years of flouting. Where some of my strongest and most fun friendships came from as well, was in band. So absolutely one of my favorite things that I ever did in school. No question. Like, I have had interest in other instruments, but once I started with the flute, I was just like, yeah, I like what I'm playing here. I don't feel the need to invest in another instrument. I was like, maybe if I had the disposable income, I would consider playing some other instruments. As it stands, the only other investment I've made is bass guitar, which the kind of band that we had, we were a symphonic band, so no real room for a bass guitar there. Maybe if I'd had an interest in the jazz band that they established later on during my time in band, I may have done something with that if I was into bass guitar at that time. Since we were a symphonic band, it was the flute the whole way. Yeah, everybody in the band was cool peeps. I don't think I went in this room during my replay recently. Oh. More magic power built from attacks. Nice. That's pretty handy. Did the enemies just hurt each other? Can they do that in this game? Can they hurt each other? I have no idea. I've never seen them actually damage each other like that. I heard it, so I guess I still technically haven't seen it. But it sure sounded like they took damage from one of their attacks. Just a little too far away. Lazy Cat will freak when I tell her she just started flute this year. Well, I hope it goes well. I think the embouchure is the toughest part starting off. For me, it was just getting the right mixture of angle, mouth shape, and all that sort of stuff to actually get some good sound out of the flute. But once you've got it figured out, it gets a lot easier from there. Then you mainly are just focusing on the fingerings. Because some of the fingerings are a little bit tricky to get used to as well. I think just for basically any instrument, fingerings are one of the more abstract things to kind of wrap your head around. Yeah, I hope it goes well. And if there's ever any flute-related questions, I can certainly try my best to assist. Band, I hope my daughter will find her people soon. Kind of sticks out as the strange cat girl, very inner city school. Yeah, I hope she does find her people. It is very nice when you do find your people. I think there were only a handful of people at school that I kind of felt that level of connection with. But those are the people that I still remember to this day very fondly. So, yeah, I hope they do find their people and that it's a wonderful experience for them. So yeah, this aspect of Clear Mind, this is one I missed on my personal replay. But now I have it, that funny little black rectangle next to my normal magic meter that can now give me a 4th level of magic power. I legitimately do not know if having that 4th level of magic infers any benefits beyond just having an extra level of magic to heal with, or if it's like having the other levels where it's like, oh, level 2 magic gives you longer reach, level 3 magic gives you more damage. I don't know if level 4 does anything, but at the very least, it lets us heal. It lets us heal once without losing out any of our currently existing benefits, which is nice. Hold on. Where is this? Is this the... Oh yeah, this big room. My first playthrough, I agonized over this room not having a collectible in it for so long for some reason. Just the size of the room, I guess my brain was like, there has to be something. There has to be something I can pick up in here. And it's like, no, there isn't. There's nothing there, buddy. Just move on. Can you play the riff from Land Down Under? I have not played the flute in a long time. I don't think I ever tried that. I could play Concerning Hobbits. I did play that one. That's one of the... That felt like one of the must-plays. I think we actually did... One of our performances we had... I can't remember if it was a Lord of the Rings specific medley or if there were Lord of the Rings songs included in a medley of, you know, multiple other pieces of media. but we did play some Lord of the Rings music, so that was fun. Yeah, I do remember specifically practicing the concerning hobbits. That melody line. But yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I don't remember if I brought the flute with me when I moved, or if that's still with my folks in storage. Because I did get one somewhat recently before I made the cross-country move, but I don't remember off the top of my head if I brought the flute with me, or if that got brought over at some point afterward, or if that's still with my folks in storage. I know for sure that I have the recorder because I've seen it in the boxes. I know I have the recorder. I don't remember if I brought the flute because it was a little space prohibitive bringing stuff out here because I had to bring things like my computer with me. So that was important. That took a good chunk of the space I needed to. Oh yeah, this room. I completely missed this room on my replay as well. Good, I've been needing some Titanic. I mean, I have to check. I haven't tried playing the recorder with my new audio settings for my mic, where I've started, actually using a compressor and some things like that to try and help normalize my volume. So I don't know how much of it would pick up properly. I need to try that sometime. Couldn't do that. Instruments were some of the first things I brought when I moved. That's fair. Yeah, I think just the amount of space I had to bring things with me during the initial move was pretty limited. So between that and not wanting to overburden, when family did come out to visit, they drove out for family visit. During the first family visit that happened after I moved cross country, they didn't have access to it at that point. So they couldn't have packed it in with my other stuff. If I'm remembering correctly, I might have to double check and see whether I do actually have the flute here. Because it's also kinda tricky to... I don't have a good space to play the flute. Because it's a pretty small house, and it's not like we have a sound-treated room that would help dampen the effect of playing a flute in an enclosed space. So it's not something that I've really been... I've not been really well equipped to attempt to pursue. Especially not recently. But that's where something like the bass guitar is a little more versatile for my specific situation. Because I can plug that into, like FL Studio or something. I can play hooked up to a computer and have the sound coming from there rather than having it be run through open air and that's now audible to everybody in the vicinity. So, for my specific situation, the flute's not super viable. But hopefully sometime in the future I'll be able to do more with it. I would probably also want to get some, like an actual dedicated recording setup for something like that, so I can actually use it for something and have it sound decent. Because the microphone I've got right now, it works well enough for my voice, but I can't imagine it would be super well tuned to an instrument. You can get mute thingies, I think, but I don't know what they cost. Yeah, I imagine there's probably things you could do. It feels a little tricky to do that for a woodwind, considering that anywhere there's a gap is where sound can come through. I feel like brass instruments, it's easier to mute them. Because the sound is mainly coming from one specific opening. Woodwinds, I feel like, are tougher because anywhere that you're not covering due to like note fingerings, I feel like that would be more challenging to effectively mute it. I'm sure it's possible. I just haven't personally tried it. I haven't heard of people doing that as much as I have with brass instruments, because yeah, trumpet mutes. We did have a couple of songs, we had a couple of pieces in band that did make use of trumpet mutes. So those I'm familiar with. Basically anything not a brass instrument though, I'm not really familiar with sound or volume control options like that. There might be stuff. It just seems like it might be more, I don't know, niche, I guess? Not really quite as all-purpose or universally utilized. Do they do mics or pickups for flutes? I imagine there's probably something out there. Just do a little wall cling here. Just do that way. Trying to remember if this is the right way. That is not the right way. I think it was the other door I wanted. I was going the right way the first time. I don't think this is the right way. I think I wanted to go up in that area I was bouncing up to just before. I wanted to go up here, I think. Yeah, this looks right. Yeah, this is definitely the way I wanted to go. Oop, I did not bounce. There we go, that's what I wanted to do. Jay's not solving his problems on Elden Ring with his sword very well. Maybe sorting isn't the answer. That's what I'm saying. Some problems are not really meant to be solved with a sword. Or, inversely, perhaps the solution is to sword differently. Maybe sword is the answer, just not in the way that you might be using the sword initially. You gotta pick the right sword. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let me see if I can make use of this here. Because the way you're supposed to deal with this room is you want to use the soul cutter ability to launch at the switch to hit it from a distance. Trying to get it to actually line up and also be at the right height is kind of tricky. Let me try this. That should hit. Ooh, that was close. I took the damage but didn't get respawned. That was a little bit sketchy. But that also skips me needing to use the shadow orbs at all. But this is one of the pillars I was talking about, where if you just use wall cling on the outside of it, because you go slightly, you gain a slight bit of height whenever you cling to a wall, because it initializes the wall clinging anytime you go around one of these rounded corners. You start slowly gaining height. You can see how we're slowly going up. So you can theoretically just climb this. Well, I guess more than theoretically. You can just climb this without needing the shadow orbs power, being able to bounce off of things by attacking them. You can just completely ignore that aspect. And what I used that for in my personal replay was I hit that first switch by platforming over to it and using the wall cling to slide over to the gap and just hit the switch manually rather than using the projectile to do it. But then this pillar in the middle raises up and it's kind of hard to get up to. Unless you get to that pillar first that's surrounded by the shadow orbs. And that's where having the wall cling, I didn't realize that I could use the wall cling to climb up pillars yet. So I didn't know that. But I needed to come back with Soul Cutter to hit that other switch anyway, because I did not feel like trying to make that work with platforming, because that was over 2 hours later. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm fine. Since I'm already going through the Twilight Theater, I'm getting the Soul Cutter upgrade anyway. I was like, I'll just come back once I have that. It'll make certain aspects of it a lot easier for me. I don't have to try and get halfway across the room over a giant pit. But now we have all 5 of our major keys. So now we can go back to the castle and finish this off. Some magic real quick so we can start off strong here. Just go around and tackle some enemies here. Get our magic filled up. Taking damage is not a big deal right now. I just want the magic power. So we can regain health just by sitting in a save point, or by hitting a save point. Just like that. this game is so much fun though. I'm so glad that somebody made a custom map that teaches some of the advanced movement. It made learning it, for me at least, so much more intuitive because it gives practical scenarios to demonstrate, like, okay, this is the ledge height that, this is how high your side flip will get you. And so they'll just have ledges that are placed perfectly at the exact height that you can actually reach using a side flip. So stuff like that is very, very nice. I'm very happy that somebody made a resource like that. I'm trying to think of alternative ways to get up here. I'm thinking if I come up here, I could probably do something with this. Maybe. I'm doing a little bit of experimentation here. Just because there's really no quick way back up to the absolute top. I'm wondering if I can make there be a quicker way through some usage of movement. I feel like maybe I could do something. I wonder if I have enough room for a slide super jump here. I do. I have enough room. I just need to execute it. I think I'm jumping the gun a little bit. One more try. Dang. Something about my timing. I think I'm letting the small size of the area kind of psych me out. There we go. And then you just slide right around. Yeah, that'll be much quicker once I get it down. But here we are. It's time to temporarily no longer be Hornet and then immediately go back. I also, when I first played this, I called this place Deserted Memory. I think my brain just didn't see some of the letters correctly. I'm pretty sure it's Distorted Memory. Because there's two S's in the first word. So it's not deserted, it's distorted. And for what little story there actually is in this game, I feel like distorted makes a lot more sense. Alright. Y'all ready for a final boss fight? Here we go. It's time to fight that princess. She's got giant Nova bombs. I think one thing that's really cool about this boss, besides the absolutely killer music, because this music is insanely good, but the fact that you can reflect some of the projectiles back at her, I think that's a really cool element for basically any boss, to be able to turn some of their attacks back against them. I just think that's neat. send homing projectiles back at her is pretty cool. The music in this game does deserve mention. Yeah, they really knocked it out of the park with the compositions. There's a reason that I have the Empty Bailey's music as a dedicated 1 hour loop just in my music library. Anytime I'm feeling like I need some more of that music in my life, it's just at hand or ready to go. I think for a while after I played this game, I actually made that my starting soon music. I just had the Empty Bailey music on loop, and that was my starting soon music. I'm gonna heal up. Heal up a little bit here. Music has gotten a little louder than your speaking voice, though. That's fair. That is just this song. This song does do that. This song kind of comes out of nowhere and hits super hard. Ow! My body has been exploded. Oh, she's doing the multi-shot now. That's fun. I fell down. I also wondered, after watching my archive of this during my first playthrough, I wonder if they changed the boss behavior at all. Because there were a couple of times during my first attempt of that boss that she did some things that felt kind of unfair. I think one time her spinning Beyblade attack, she stayed underneath me as I was jumping. So she literally was just my drop shadow. So I had nowhere to land except for into her attack. So that was kind of funny. But also it seemed like that same attack where she's just bouncing around while spinning, it seemed like that attack also specifically aimed toward me after each ricochet, but it doesn't do that anymore. So I really wonder if they changed that and just didn't say anything in the patch notes about it, or if that just happened to be a different AI behavior that just isn't consistent. But that is the game. And when I was looking back on this, I was trying to figure out like what sort of story moment, like so what sort of story they were trying to tell with these dialogue boxes. Not really the kind of person you want to hang out with, right? I barely remember what she was really like at this point. Oh, sorry. You're probably wondering who I am. Honestly, I don't really know anymore. Nobody special, I guess. But then, that's the whole reason you're here, right? I get it. I can't just hide here forever and pretend I don't exist. I'm sure I'll find something worth being awake for. Maybe I'll finally get into photography. That'd be nice, I think. So thanks, Bug Lady. Hornet? Got it. I'll make sure to write it down as soon as I wake up. I don't want to forget you too. I'm sure you've got someone else to help out, right? So yeah, thanks. Take care, Hornet. Don't mind me just replacing some of those names contextually. I thought it'd be funny to just really go full in on, yeah, this is Hornet. Don't worry, not Sybil, it's Hornet. I'm sure if I really wanted to, I could go into whatever text files and change it myself. But it's fine as it is. I was listening, was like, oh, did they really write Hornet? That would be kind of funny if they did change, if the mod also changed the dialogue at the end, or just any mentions of Sybil are replaced with Hornet. And instead of that ending part where it's like goat, cat, bunny lady, it just says bug lady. But I just did I did verbal replacement instead. But yeah, this is a really fun game. Since the menu music does not loop or anything like that, I'll bring back this music. So yeah, this used to be my starting soon music for a while. And it is well deserving. Yeah, I was expecting to tackle this in one sitting. I think my original playthrough was also one sitting. I think, what's the archive, like 4.5 hours? Something like that for my first playthrough. So with this one being 2.5 hours, you can see how knowing where to go and having more advanced movement under my belt has made a huge difference in the play length. But yeah, this game has excellent replay value, especially if you're into, you know, more technical movement systems and having sort of a movement sandbox to work within. Because there's a lot of good mechanics at play here. It's a lot of fun to mess around with. And for the price that the game is, I think it's more than well worth the value. 100%. But I figure since I'm still feeling like we could do a bit more, and since this is a pretty quick endeavor anyway, assuming that I actually do it right, we can take a quick trip to Schmoovement School. I will change myself to Hornet again, because of course. But this is the custom map I was referring to that teaches some advanced movement techniques that I did not know about before playing for the first time, or until just this week, basically. But yeah, this is the training facility. So normal jumps will not get you up here. But doing one of those fun little side flips absolutely will. Just barely. You can see how they've placed the ledge to be just at the right height, just to make sure that you know what you're doing. You understand the vertical limits. This gives us our slide. And this is the room that teaches you about slide canceling. You can press slide cancel into a skid into a backflip. So to cancel a slide, you press the jump button midway through your slide, and then you skid, and then you jump. So they basically have all these little guys around to sort of explain the technique to you. And then it's up to you to just experiment and try and make it work. This one's a little tricky. I like to do this one just backwards. It's easier to do a straight up backflip out of it. Trying to redirect the skid out of the cancel is kind of tricky. That's kind of what you need to do for this one. Because if you try to do a backflip, I think you're too far away. So you need to kind of redirect the backflip to the side. It's a little tricky, for sure. Doing this on my own, I am able to clear pretty much everything. You know, I think the run I did right before the stream was about 2 minutes. So once you get the movement down, you can really just power through. There we go. And now we have our solar wind. So now slide canceling does not happen. But now we can use that skidding technique to get a super big jump. This one, this is a difficulty curve and a half. What you have to do for this one, this is something I don't normally use during just regular gameplay, but it is interesting. You have to jump over here, start a skid on this little square, then let go of the control stick so you're not holding a direction, and then jump. So you do a super jump straight up instead of in another direction. Because normally all of my super jumps have been in a certain direction. They'll be going, you know, left or back or forward. But to do one in place like that, kind of tricky. And the only reason I got it there is because I've done this several times now, so I have a bit more muscle memory for it. But it is not easy. Now we have our air kick. And that drops us back down into here. So this is a part where it's kind of easy to get lost as to where you would want to go next. Because at this point, you don't have guidance. There's no one to tell you, hey, here's the next place you should go. The only hint you get, basically, is that you dropped through one of these lights on the ceiling. And that is your hint to try and go up into the lights on the ceiling. Using that same stationary jump, that stationary super jump. It's kind of tricky to get the timing just right on it, because I did mention this before, your jump height is tied to your horizontal speed. So the more speed you're able to retain, the higher your jump is. So you can get up to this area, slide under here, and this gives us our sun setter, so we can do our slam now. Not only can we slam into the ground, we can also do our backflip. And if you'll remember, the backflip just stops our momentum and does a backflip if we cancel out of the plunge. This is where things get really nutty. You can actually do a super jump into a backflip and then air kick up that light there. It's kind of ridiculous. And it's not very easy for me to line up. But then you get up to here. This took me a while to do the first time. Like just trying to get the backflip timed to the point where I was directly underneath the light. Oh boy. Now, I did use this technique a couple times, the one we're about to learn here, during the playthrough, but not too often. So where we need to go is way up above us. But if we just use our regular wall kicks, we do not get enough height. Apparently, if you use your wall kicks immediately after a slide jump, and I mean immediately after, they get way more height. So you can get way further up if you do your wall kicks immediately after doing a slide jump. If you time them right, you can get just enough height to grab this ledge and climb up here. And for that, you are rewarded with this gorgeous little sitting spot here. You can see a little island out in the distance. You got a nice little place to sit and reflect on what you've learned in Schmoovement School. You can slide through this little passageway here, but that brings us back to a room we've already been into. That's where we did our first straight up super jump. And believe it or not, this is not the last area you can reach. You can actually keep going higher. You can get yourself up here. You've got this guy just staring out at the frozen ocean. And this is as far up as I could get. It looks like there's more stuff up there. There's these pillars way up there. And some of these slopes you can stand on. Some of these walls you can bounce off of. But I've never been able to get any further up. And I've tried going around trying to get some wall kicks over to a different slope or something like that. But I've never been able to get any higher up on this mountain, sort of mountain face here. Trying to make use of that low gravity. Like that. Could potentially get up there. But I thought I'd at least show off this little area just to show how I learned the movement techniques that I did. And since I'm here, since I'm getting a little bit of possible momentum toward actually scaling this, seems like there's possibly something I could do here. I did kind of clip a ledge up there I wasn't expecting. I just want to try this for a little bit. If I can get that, if I can get that high wall kick would be nice. If I get sent too far away from the wall, that's a bit of an issue though. Whoa, don't know what was going on there. It's a little bit funky. I remember hitting a ledge up here just not too long ago. Something reset my wall kicks while I was up here. Yeah, there's like a little ledge there. I messed it up. That's tough to reach, but there's something there. Then again, I also don't know if I'm just literally butting my head up against a wall that doesn't actually go anywhere. Because certainly nothing in the comments section of the mod page implied anyone getting any further than this specific area right here. So if there is something further up, I don't know. And I couldn't find any documented evidence of somebody else getting up here any further than this. But since there's something, I want to just kind of throw myself at it a little bit more. I've done it a handful of times now. Whoa. A little bit chunky there. I'm just not sure if I should be going further to the side when I get up there, or if I should be trying to squeeze out as much height as possible. There's standable ground here. It's promising. Interesting. The respawn point is unfortunately down here, which is why I was kind of being careful and not wanting to go off to the side too much at first. But I'm seeing some potential here. There's something here. I just need to get up high enough that I can get this reset, and then I can go for distance. Ah, oh, dang. Just barely missed it. Like, I can't think of any other games that I'm like this when it comes to exploration, where it's like, let me just throw myself at it a little bit more and see what happens. That's not something I really normally do. So this is kind of a unique case. And I think that's really, really interesting. And I would think a testament to how fun the moment-to-moment movement feels. That it's something that encourages me to explore, rather than just being a means to an end. Oh no, I didn't get enough distance again. I keep underestimating how far over I have to be. Because you're better at games than the rest of us who have to do that to progress. I'm sorry, Toon. I'm sorry, I'm just speaking my truth. I certainly do not mean to disparage anybody. I merely wish to express my personal experience. There we go. Okay, this is where I want to be, right here. I feel like there's more I could get to here. Do you blame Picasso for his greatness simply because he's better than the rest of us? Bless. Okay. I'm flattered, but I am no Picasso. Have you seen my PNG tuber? Oh, we're pumping it up. We're pumping it up. Just pump it up. Okay. Oh, what a special moment in my life this is. No, hold on. I need to jump wall kick. There we go. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Okay, we're back. I didn't completely fall all the way back down. Whoa. Let me up! Let me up! That's not gonna give me enough height. Oh no, that's not far enough. Yikes. A little tricky, but I feel like we could get there. I feel like I'm onto something. I just need to execute better. I didn't ledge grab. Tragic. Something about my angles has to be a certain way. Okay, I think I see the vision here. I have an idea. Try and figure out how to make this more consistent. I maybe have it. be something I try and tackle more off stream. But I thought it'd be fun to try and see what I could do with it here, since I've just now figured out there's potentially a way up there that I did not know about before. Oh, so close. Well, that's not enough height. Stop sliding. See, I'm getting sent way too far away from the wall. My angles are bad. That's something else that actually I think the normal base game itself says this. In the bigger pop-up when you first grab the sun greaves that let you do your wall kicks, I think it specifies that if you point yourself more directly at the wall, you'll get more height, but less distance. So I should be trying to make more use of... Yeah, okay. I see the vision now. Okay, I see what I was doing wrong. My first big kick has to be facing the wall more specifically, I think, and not quite as much along the wall. That gives me a lot more height to work with. Oh, I slid over the ledge there. Yeah, that's more like what I'm looking for. That's better height. That's getting me up there more consistently. So I have to make the most of this first super kick here. Whoa. That time I actually mantled to the ledge. Interesting. If I could do that, that would be awesome. That would give me just a tiny bit of extra height while maintaining my 3 kicks. Oh, so close. I'm starting to figure out certain aspects of it, though. I'm just remembering that one piece of information about how the wall kicks work, and it already feels like it's made a world of difference in my consistency. Like, the height I'm getting is a lot closer to what I actually need here. Still by no means easy. That's not quick enough. That wall kick basically has to come out immediately after the slide jump for it to benefit from that boost in height. There we go, that's good angles. Much better. Now, I don't remember, I think there is a mod that lets you put down your own custom saves, so you can basically just make this a save point that you can recall to. I think I opted not to have that installed just because I didn't want to be even remotely tempted. But for something like this, where it's a user-made level, this is a custom map, it's not part of the vanilla game, maybe it would be a little more justified. at least for figuring it out for the first time. That's gonna slide me off. Yeah. At least salvaged it. Yeah, once I'm up where I need to be, once I get that ledge reset, I need to start trying to get good distance angles on the bounce. That's the tricky part, is trying to get that redirection. Because I understand the wall kicks to a certain extent, but I feel like there's still further level of nuance that I am not privy to. No, don't slide me off. I'm in the right spot. Don't you dare drop me down. I'd never work half this stuff out. You're much more technically proficient than I am. I think it's partially due to playing a lot of games like this, and I think just playing a lot of games in general. I've spent decades of my life playing games, so playing games is something I have put a lot of time into. And I think I'm not a speed runner per se, but I do think... Whoa! Whoa, Kyo! Hello? Hello, Kyo? Thank you for the 5 gifted? It's gonna come up 5 times? But hello, welcome on in, Kyo. Hope you've been having a good New Year so far. It's been a little bit. How you doing? Oh no. Not the Apple Bottom Beach Boys. Oh no. Much more feeling driven anyway, even with a guitar. That's fair. That's fair. I kind of feel that with music. This is chaos. It's gonna keep going. Oh no. We have a hype train? Have I seen one of those before? I don't know. If anyone would have done it, it's probably Yukio. So thank you for that. Much appreciated. It means a lot. But yes, Happy New Year. Welcome on in. I've just been throwing myself at, I guess this amounts to an obstacle course now. So we beat the main game, and I was showing the custom map that I found somebody made that teaches some advanced movement for this game. And is how I basically learned all of it. But there's this area up here I've never been to, and I've started figuring out a way around to try and get up to it. But I've just been kind of throwing myself at this for the fun of it. But hello, welcome in. Yeah, we made pretty short work of the game, 2.5 hours to beat the main game. Bless, thank you for the 30 bits. Much appreciated. You guys are gonna make me fall off the cliff if I try to platform, because I'm gonna be going up there and suddenly it's gonna be like the Beach Boys are gonna start singing to me again. And I'm not gonna know how to compose myself. I think I just gotta go for the distance and hope. Oh, wait, hold on. This is standable. I can stand here. Oh no. Oh no, wait a minute. Wait. Whoa, it happened. It happened. I found the way around. I'm pretty sure this isn't supposed to be gotten to. I had already checked around the sides of the mountain to see if there was anything around the edges, and I'd already seen there was that the mountain face was not completely surrounding. Is this not meant to be gotten to? At least it's not, there's not like a specifically designed area back here. Oops. Yeah, I guess this is... Oh, you know what? I did see one screenshot. I did see one screenshot that had this. This was where the screenshot was in the demo. Or not in the demo, on the mod page. I saw this screenshot, but with Sybil here instead of Hornet, obviously. So that's what convinced me there was more area to go to, but I guess this was not really an area that I was supposed to go to, but we made it happen anyway. Cool. Dance party. Slide around. Yeah, the bits really are just like throwing pennies at me. It's funny. Oh, wait. Oh, it's you. Wait, hold on. It's me. Hello. Hornet is here to say hello and vibrate at incredible speeds. The sheer raw energy of Hornet's platforming prowess. Because we know she's skilled. Silksong just confirms what Hollow Knight already kind of implied, that she has some skill. She's just reached a new level of strength that allows her to just exist in two places at once like this. Oh boy. Oh, that's fun. I'm glad that I've kept throwing myself at this because, hey, we made it happen. This wouldn't have happened without all of your support. So thank you all for giving me the power I needed to break the game. You know what's funny is I've kind of been doing something similar in Cyberpunk while I've been playing. There's been a couple of places that I've gotten to that it's pretty obvious they didn't expect people to really be going to those spots because you can get soft locked in them and the textures are not complete. Objects are clipping into each other, just things like that. So I guess I've just been in a more exploration-based playing mode recently. Because I've been doing things like this to Cyberpunk as well. Not necessarily on purpose, but mainly just like, hey, there's this mission I have to do. I can't go through this door. Let me try and find a different way into the building. I go to the roof, and the roof has some weird looking texture inconsistencies going on. And it's like, oh, I don't think I'm supposed to be up here. I think I've just done the same thing here. But you know what? Isn't it cool that the movement options available by default in this game, none of the movement is modded in any way. This is all stuff you can do in the normal game. The fact that the game gives you the tools to do this much with it, movements mechanics wise, is that not impressive? I can't think of many games that have this robust of a tool set of movement. between that and the music, that is why I love this game. I think for anyone who is a fan of movement sandboxes and stuff like this, this is a really good speedrun game. Very, very input heavy. Very technical, that speedrun would be. I haven't looked at the most recent speedruns. I don't know what the world record is sitting at right now. But this is the kind of game that I would be far too intimidated to try and speedrun because of how technical it is. You're very technical. I am very technical. Thank you for noticing, Bless. Gosh, and here I thought the technicality was lost. Oh man, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad that I was well rested for this experience. I don't know how well this sort of thing would have gone if I was still as tired as I was yesterday. I did practice a little bit as well, so that I wouldn't be completely rusty. But heck yeah, glad we could all kind of be here and hang out a little bit and kick off the new year. Just doing a little bit of a fun extra thing. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else designed for me to go to. I think that goatling up on top of this structure was sort of meant to be the last thing you reached. But while I'm thinking of it, this custom map does technically have an ending of sorts, so I will go show that really quickly before we finish off here. Just bring me back here, and we'll give this custom map a proper farewell. You can do this as soon as you get the sun setter, by the way. You can just come over here, drop down here, and what have we done? I'm afraid to look outside. Welcome to the secret laboratory. Looks like you've just completed your training. Excellent work. Give yourself a pat on the back. Now I shall return to contemplating the end of life as we know it. If you listen closely, the text is still it's still scrolling. The existentialism sets in. Haha. They said it could not be done, but we've done it. Ice in a perfect crystalline structure, instantly solidifying any liquid water it touches. Beautiful. Perfect. Haha. And now we're trapped down here forever. Yippee! This has been a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to experience something new with y'all. I did not know you could actually get back there, but we made it happen. So if this is any indication for the new year, let's wrap in a moral to the story. How about that? Let's make this a fun little edutainment episode here. The moral of the story. Sometimes you just need to give it 1 or 2 or 10 more attempts. But if you persevere and learn from your mistakes and think outside the box, you may end up in some unexpected places. just to kind of wrap in what you said, Toon. To bring it large scale, I guess. Practice makes betterment. I literally just got done writing lessons plans for stories with morals. Well, I think you might have one more to add to that list. Oh, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad we all could be here together and just share in this little moment. Hopefully bring some good energy into the new year. Goodness knows, we could use more positivity. Gotta contextualize it for your students who work in a video game. Hey, you never know. There are definitely some games that, whether intentionally or not, definitely teach life lessons. If there's one thing I've personally taken away from this game, it would definitely be, you know, sometimes you don't know your own limits until you test them. Sometimes you think you can't do something, but if you think about it a different way, sometimes a change of perspective and just a little bit of alternative thinking can make certain problems not really even a problem anymore. Sometimes the problems become fun in a way. Your princess is always in another castle. Sometimes. Sometimes always. 50% of the time, every time. This has been a lot of fun. You're talking about maths now? I mean, maybe. This has been a lot of fun. I think for the sake of my brain, I should probably wrap it up here. I think we've covered everything that I had in mind for tonight. I'm glad that I got to hang out with all of y'all and that y'all were able to be here and hang out. It makes doing stuff like this a lot more fun to be able to share it with people. And hey, without your guys' encouragement and support, just even being here, I don't know that I would have really tried to get around that mountainside there. Because before tonight, I was just like, oh, I guess that's something that's for other people to explore. I don't really feel super compelled to throw myself at it. But we made it happen. Look at where we are now. So happy 2026, everybody. Happy New Year to all of y'all. Here's hoping that it's a good one. Hopefully this helps kind of start us all off with a little bit of a positivity boost. And thank you all for being here and hanging out. This has been quite a fun time. And I am very happy to have come back to play this game again. Because I originally, in my archive, had talked about doing a challenge run for this game. And it sounded like, the way I was talking about it, I was planning to come back to the game, you know, sooner than almost 2 years down the line. So, who knows, maybe another one of these streams I will do that challenge run, and we'll give it a try. But that will be it for me for tonight. We did almost end up going a full normal 4 hours here, as it turned out by the end of everything. But hey, I had a good time, and I hope you all did as well. So thank you all for being here and hanging out, and just know that somebody cares about you because I care about you. And until the next stream, take care, everyone.